Hello guys, welcome back to TechDose, and in this video we will see the best time to buy and sell stock problem, which is with cooldown. So in the previous video I had shown you best time to buy and sell stock without cooldown. In this case we have an added constraint of this cooldown. So this is from LeetCode number 309, and I will be showing two methods, which is by memoization, and another one will be a very exciting method, which is by using state machines. So let us first read the problem statement. Now in this problem, say you have an array for which ith element is the price of a given stock on day I. Design an algorithm to find maximum profit. You may complete as many transactions as you like, that is, buy one and sell one share of the stock multiple times with the following restrictions. So first restriction is that you may not engage in multiple transactions at the same time. That is, you must sell the stock before you buy it again. And the second constraint is that after you sell your stock, you cannot buy stock on the next day. So this is defining cooldown period equals to 1 day. So this is the added constraint from our previous very similar problem. So the link for the previous problem will be present in the description below. You can check that out. Now let us see an example in order to get a better understanding. Now in this case, let us assume that we have a single stock and we are given prices on 5 different days. So on the first day the price was 1, on the second day the price was 2, and so on. Okay. Now this is the graph which is being drawn, and now you are required to find on what day you will buy the stock and on what day you will sell the stock, and again you will buy and again you can sell, so that you will optimally buy and sell it in order to maximize your profit. So a very intuitive method can be to buy the stock when the prices are minimum and to sell the stock when the prices are maximum. So when is the prices minimum? It will be minimum when this graph is at its valley, that is at local minima. And when is the prices maximum? It will be maximum at local maxima. Okay. So using this approach, that is the valley peak approach, we had solved without cooldown problem. Now in this case there is an added constraint of cooldown. Now for this first example, what will be the maximum profit? If you do not consider cooldown, then you will buy the stock at this day 1 at price 1 and you will sell it at day 3 at price 3. Now again you will buy the stock at day 4 at price 0, and then you will sell it at day 5 at price 2. So what will be the profit? On this first buy and sell, the profit will be 2. On this second buy and sell, the profit will be 2. So total profit will be equals to 4. But now if you add the constraint of cooldown equals to 1 day, then what will be the maximum profit? In this case, if you buy the stock at this day 1 at price 1 and sell it at day 3 at price 3, and since you have sold your stock at this day 3, then you cannot buy your stock on the next day. Okay. So the added constraint says that if you sold a stock on some ith day, then you cannot buy the stock on I plus 1th day. Okay. It should start from I plus 2th day. This is possible, but just on the next day buying a stock is not possible. So gap should always be greater than 1 day. Now if you sold the stock on this day 3, then you cannot buy it on day 4. So you will have to buy on this day 5 or on further days. But you can see that buying on day 5 will give you no profit, since you will not have any other day to sell this stock. So buying is not an option here. So in this case the profit will come out to be 2. Now how do you maximize your profit? There is still another way. Let's say you buy the stock when the price was 1. You sold the stock on day 2. So your profit was equals to 1. Now again you bought the stock when the price was 0 and again you sold it at price 2. Then the profit margin was 2. So the total profit in this case will come out to be 3. And you have also followed the cooldown constraint because you had sold the stock on day 2. So on day 3 you are not buying the stock, and again on day 4 you bought the stock. So in this case, if you follow the cooldown approach, then the maximum profit will come out to be 3. Okay. So this is our goal. Our goal is to maximize profit and also to follow the constraint of cooldown equals to 1 day. Now this second graph and this first graph are both the same, because when the stocks are going down, then you will not be buying the stock. So this first day, second day are basically not important. That means we will not be buying stock on this first day and second day. So if you remove these points, then this entire graph will be the same as this graph. Okay. So the answer in both these cases will come out to be same. Now the next question is, will the valley peak approach work? Well, let us assume this graph, okay, and this graph is showing the stock price for 13 days. Now in this case, let us apply the peak value approach. Then you will be buying the stock at this day 1 at price 1, and again you will be selling at price 4. Again you will buy at price 1, you will be selling at price 4, and then you will not be buying it again. So what will be the profit margin? In this case the profit will be 3, and in this case the profit will come out to be 3. So the total profit will be 3 plus 3, that is 6. Okay. And if you calculate it even with cool down, the maximum profit will still come out to be 6, because the gap between this local maxima and local minima is more than 1. In this case the gap is equals to 3. Okay, because this is day 4, this is day 5, this is day 6, and this is day 7. So there are 3 days gap between this day 4 and day 7. Okay, so whenever the gap between the local maxima and the local minima is more than 1 day, then your peak valley approach will always work. So this is a very important point to note. Whenever the peak valley gap, that is the local maxima and local minima gap, is greater than the cool down period, then that type of graph can always be solved by using the peak valley approach that I had already shown you. But what is the problem case? Like why can't we solve the cool down constraint as well by using this peak valley approach? Now let us look at the problem case. For this graph which I have drawn, let's apply the peak valley method. By using the peak valley method, I will buy the stock when the price is 1, I will sell it at price 4. So profit will be 3 here. Now according to the constraint of the cool down, I cannot buy the stock at this point. So the next good opportunity is buying the stock when the price is 1. So I will be selling the stock when the price is 4. So the profit margin here is 3. So by following this peak valley approach along with cool down, your total profit will come out to be 6. Now let us just remove this peak valley approach and find it manually. What will be the maximum profit? So if you find it manually, then you can calculate that you will buy the stock when price is 1, and when the price is 2 you will sell it. So the profit which will come out is 1. Now again you will buy the stock when price is 1, you will sell it at 0.4. So here the profit will come out to be 3, and now again you will buy the stock at this point and sell it at this point. So again the profit will come out to be 3. So the total profit which comes out will be equals to 7, which we have found manually. So you can see that the peak valley approach will fail when the local maxima and the local minima are differing by just a single day. That means the gap between local maxima and local minima is less than equals to the cool down period. In this case you can see that for this price 4 and price 1, this is local maxima, this is local minima, and so the gap in this case is equals to 1, which is equals to the cool down period. So this peak valley approach will fail for this type of graph. So there is one very important point to note. Only the peak and valley elements have the option to get selected or skipped. The middle elements are always included. In this case as well, this 2 was the middle element, okay, and this 2 was the middle element. Now for any increasing part of the graph, the middle element will always get selected. Think about it. This is very logical. Only you will think about skipping the local minima or the local maxima. Like in this case, we had skipped this 0.4 in order to select this 0.1. Okay. So we will be making choices only for the local maxima or local minima point. By making use of this point, you can improve your recursion or your dynamic programming approach as well. But I have not used this in our code. You can try to apply this observation. This is also very good. So what is the idea about solving this problem? How can we actually solve this problem? Well, whenever we are at a given point, that is at a given day for a stock, then we have two options. Either we can buy that stock or we can sell that stock. And this holds true for all the stocks. But according to my note, all the middle elements in the increasing graph will always be included. Okay. But I am not making use of this observation. But if I exclude this observation, then either a point, that is a stock, can get included in our calculation or it get excluded. So there are two options for each and every point, and let's say there are n points. So we will have a total number of 2 to the power n number of combinations. So the recursion will take order of 2 to the power n time. This is pure recursion. Okay. So this is very simple to apply actually. Now let us see how do we apply recursion, and then we will see how to improve this. Now I have taken the same example as given in the question. So the stock prices are for 5 days and the prices are 1, 2, 3, 0, 2. Now I have marked them as points A, B, C, D, E for better representation. Now for each and every point, as I said, we can have two options. Either it gets included or it gets excluded. So if you solve it manually, then we will be buying the stock when the price is 1. We will be selling it when the price is 2. Again we will buy the stock when the price is 0 and we will sell it when the price is 2. So the total profit will be 1 plus this will be 2. So this will come out to be 3. Okay, so this is the total profit by using the cool down constraint. Now if we solve this by using recursion, then each and every point is having two options. So we will be starting with this point A. Now this point A will form the root of the recursion tree. So this is the recursion tree diagram, as you can see. So at point A we will have two options. The red color is showing that we are not including the root node, that is the parent node. So if we do not include this A, that means we are not buying the stock. Then we will go to this point B, because we do not need to skip the cooldown period since we did not buy any stock on this day A. Okay, so we are at this point B. Now if we do not buy any stock at this point B, then we will go to C. Again, if we do not buy anything at C, we will go to D, and so on. If we do not buy anything on D, we will go to E. Again, if we do not buy anything at E, then we will go out of bounds, and whenever we go out of bounds, then we will return simply 0. That is price 0. That is, there is no profit. So if we do not buy any stock at all, then this is the leftmost diagonal. That is the leftmost line, as you can see, A, B, C, D, E. So if we do not buy anything, then this will obviously be 0. Now again, if we try to buy this E and we go out of bounds, then this out of bounds will return 0. And since we had bought something E, then this will return some negative value. Okay, so we will not return the negative value. Actually we will take the maximum of whatever the value comes from the left hand side, right hand side, and adding this value. So this will be much more clear when I explain you in the code part. Now similarly, when this D was not included, then this will get certain value, let's say X. Now the other option is to include this D. So when we include this D, then it will have certain flow, that is certain other flow. Let's say we buy the stock at this price, which was 0. Then you cannot buy the stock at this point because this is just the next day. So you will have to skip an extra day, and when you skip an extra day, then you go out of bounds, and so it will return 0. So it will get a value Y and it will take maximum of XY, and it will also include its current stock price. Okay, so on the left hand side, that is on the red line, as you can see, this stock, that is the current stock, was not getting included, and on the right hand side this stock was getting included. So how will the prices get included? On the left hand side we did not buy D, so this will simply be X. On the right hand side we bought D, so this will be negative of price of D, and then we will add whatever is returned from the right call, which will be Y. Okay, and why did we take negative here? Because we are buying the stock at this point, which was at the point D. Okay, so again we will take the maximum of these two values, and this will be returned to C, and this is our recursion tree. I hope you are able to understand this. Now from this recursion tree you can make out that there are many repeating subproblems. So this D is repeating, E is repeating, this C is repeating, and so on. So there are many repeating subproblems, and also there is an optimal substructure, because we are solving smaller subproblems in order to build the solution for the larger problem. Okay, so we have both the properties of optimal substructure as well as repeating subproblems. Therefore we can apply dynamic programming. So either you can use memoization, that is storing the values in your array and then returning the pre-calculated values, so that will also be very optimal. Otherwise you can apply the tabulation dynamic programming bottom up or top down approaches. So I will be showing you the code for memoization using recursion. That is very simple to understand and it is very intuitive. Now let us look at another approach, which is by using the concept of states. At any given day you can be in 3 states. The first state is you do not have any stock with you. The second state is you have bought a stock and you have stock in your bag, that is in your hand. And the third state is you are going to sell the stock on the current day. Okay, so these are the three possible states, and based on these states you can solve this problem very efficiently. So let us now see the transition. When do you reach all these three states? Let's say on the current day you are having no stocks. Then how do you reach this state? Well, actually on the previous day you might not be having any stock and you did not buy any stock on the previous day. So if you have no stock on the previous day, then you can reach to no stock state on the next day, that is on the current day. Otherwise, if you had stocks on the previous day and if you sold those stocks, then you will reach to no stock state on the current day. Okay, so these are the two possible state transitions. I hope you are able to understand it. Now, if you are having stock on the current day, then you might be having stock on the previous day. Otherwise, you had no stock on the previous day and you bought a new stock on the previous day. So if you had no stock on the previous day and you bought a stock, then obviously you will be having the stock on the next day. So these are the two possible states from which you can transition and reach to in-hand state. Okay. In this case, you can see that if you had no stock on the previous day and if you bought a stock, then actually your profit will get diminished because you are actually spending your money on buying a stock. So your profit will be diminished by the price of the stock on the previous day on which you bought the stock. And again, you have the third state as sold state, that is a selling state. Now when do you reach this selling state? Actually on the previous day you must be having stocks in hand and then you will be selling the stock on the current day. So when you are selling the stock, then actually you will be making some money, and what will be that money? That will be equals to the price of the stock on the current day. So this is the only state from which you can transition and reach to this selling state. Okay, so I hope you are able to understand these states. Now let me show you a state transition diagram for better understanding. Well, whenever you start, that is on the first day, that is on the beginning of the first day, you will not be having any stock in hand. So you will always be starting from this no stock state. Now when you are at this no stock state, then on the first day you can either decide to buy a stock or you can just decide to skip buying any stock. So you can continue to be in the no stock state, because if you do not buy, then you will obviously be in the no stock state. Otherwise, if you buy, then you will reach to in hand state, since you will be having one stock when you buy it. So let's say you bought the stock and you reach to this in hand state. Now when you are in hand state, you can see that in the constraint it is said that you cannot buy multiple instances of the same stock. You can just buy a single stock, hold it and then sell it at optimal time. Okay, so this was the constraint. So when you are in hand state, then you cannot directly jump to this no stock state, because when you have the stock with you, then you can continue to hold it with you if you feel that holding it with you will make the prices go higher, and you can sell it at some later time in order to make maximum profit. Otherwise, you will try to sell it now if you feel that this is the optimal time. Now if you continue to keep holding it, then it will be with you forever unless the days end. Okay, and now if you try to sell it, then you will go to this selling state. So these are only two transition states which are possible. Now when you are in the selling state, then you cannot spend more than one day here, because it requires only a single day in order to sell a stock. And when you sell the stock, then you have only one possible transition, that is you will be going to this no stock state, and you will be spending one day in no stock state due to your cool down constraint. So your cool down period was one day. So when you sell a stock, then you will go to this no stock state and you will spend at least one day here. You can also spend more than one day also. So these are the possible state transitions. I hope you were able to understand it. But how do we use these observations in order to solve our problem? Well, let us see the solution now. I hope you understood the intuition behind using the state transition diagram for this problem. So I will be taking the same example as was given in the problem. So the stock prices were given for 5 days. And in this case, since we are seeing 3 states, so I will be taking 3 arrays. So the first array will be maintaining what will be the maximum profit if you have no stock on a particular day. That is, you are at a no stock state on a particular day. The second array will be in hand array, which will be maintaining what will be the maximum profit when you are at a current day with stocks in hand. And the third array will be maintaining what will be the maximum profit on a given day when we have sold certain stock on a given day. Okay, so initially when you are at day 1, so you will be starting with day 1 actually. So when you are at day 1, then you will be having no stock, and since this is the first day you are starting, so no stock and sold state will be having 0 values, because you cannot sell a stock before buying, and for the no stock state actually there is no previous day to compare with. And so if you do not buy a stock on the first day, then obviously you will not be making profit and you will not be making loss either. So these two values will be zeros. In hand state says that you will be having stocks in hand. On the first day, if you buy stock, then you will be spending money and you are not earning any money. So actually you will be starting, let's say, with value 0, that is profit 0. Then since you are spending money on the first day, so it will go to some negative value. And what will be that negative value? That will be equals to the amount of your spending. So the first day stock price is 1. So you are spending 1 unit of price on buying the stock on the first day. So this will go to -1. Okay. Now before solving for the second day, well, we have solved for the first day. Before solving for the second day, these are the state transitions as I had already explained you. Okay, so I will be using these things. Now for this no stock state on this day 2, we can reach to this no stock state on day 2 from this no stock state on day 1. Otherwise we can reach here from this selling state. That means if we had no stock on the previous day, then we can skip the previous day and we will be having no stock on the current day as well. Otherwise, if we have sold stock on the previous day, then we will be having no stock on the current day, that is on the starting of the current day. So what we will do here is we are actually storing the maximum profit when we are having no stock on a given ith day. So on this second day, what will be the maximum profit here? It will be maximum of no stock comma sold. So we are checking for the previous day. So it will be maximum of no stock at I-1 comma sold at I-1. So this will be maximum of 0 comma 0, which will be 0. Okay. So this is nothing but this state, no stock state. Now if we want to calculate for this in hand state, then what will be the states from which we can reach to this in hand state? Well, we can reach from in hand to in hand, because if we are holding a stock in hand, then we can keep holding it with us, and so we will stay in the same state. Otherwise, if we have no stock in hand on the previous day, then we can buy a stock, and so we will be reaching this in hand state. Okay, so what we can do now, you can see that from this no stock state we can actually reach to in hand state by buying this current stock, which is priced as 2. So what will be our profit? Our profit will be 0 minus 2. Since the profit on the previous day with no stock state was 0, and since we are spending 2 units of money by buying the stock, so this will be -2. So both will be added, and so this will be -2. And now we can also reach to this in hand state from this in hand state, because if we already have stock in hand, then we can skip this in order to keep stock with us. So if we are in hand state, then the profit was -1. Therefore, in order to take maximum profit, we will be taking maximum of these two states. It will come out to be -1. Okay. Now for this selling state. Now when we can reach this selling state? Actually, whenever we have stocks in hand, then only we can sell it. Okay. So when we have stock in hand, then the benefit was -1. That is, profit was -1. And when we sell the stock, then the price here is 2. So on selling, we are actually making profit. So when from in hand state on the previous day, we can add the price of stock on the current day to reach this selling state. So this will be -1 plus 2, and this will come out to be 1. Okay. So the profit here will be 1. Now you can see that if we take just 2 days, then on the selling state, that is, if we sell on the second day, then we have the maximum profit, which is 1. But we want to calculate for all these 5 days. So we will keep repeating this process. I hope you are understanding these processes. So for this no stock state, we can reach to no stock state from no stock state or from the selling state, because if we don't have any stock, then we will just skip the stocks, we do not buy it, and we will again be staying in the no stock state. Otherwise, if we had stock on the previous day and we sold it, then we will fall in this no stock state. So we will take the maximum of 0, 1 and this will be 1. Now in the similar manner for in hand state, we will take the maximum of in hand comma no stock minus price at today. So this will be nothing but minus 1, that is maximum of minus 1 comma 0 minus the price is 3 here, so this will be 3. So maximum will come out to be minus 1, so this will be minus 1. Now for this third part, it will be in hand value of the previous day, which is minus 1, plus the price on the current day, which is 3. So this will be 2, minus 1 plus 3. Now again for this day, it will be 1 comma 2, that is maximum of these two, which will be 2. And now for this one, it will be minus 1, maximum of minus 1 comma, if you buy, then this will be no stock, that is 1, minus, and if you are buying, then the price at the current day, which is 0, so this will come out to be 1. Now this will be 1, and for this one, it will be minus 1 plus price of the current day, so this will be minus 1. Again we will keep repeating the process. So for this, it will be maximum of these two part, it will be 2, and for this one, it will be maximum of 1 comma 2 minus, it will be, we will be buying the stock here, so this will be 2, it will come out to be 1. Now for this last part, we can reach to this selling state from in hand state. So in hand state on the previous day, profit is 1 and we are having stocks in hand, so we will be selling it on this day and the profit will be 2, that is the price of stock on the current day. So the total price will be 3, that is we are making a profit 3. Now we have calculated for all the days for all these 3 states, and now at last we will take the maximum of this first state and the third state. So maximum of first state and third state is equals to maximum of 2 comma 3, which will be 3. So answer in this case will be maximum profit will be 3. And why are we not considering this second state in order for our final calculation? Because it is very illogical to just buy a stock and do not sell it. So this will always be giving you non-optimal answer. So this is for sure. So you do not need to calculate it at all. You do not need to waste your money. Okay, so finally you will leave all these days by selling all your stocks. You should not have any stocks in hand at the end of all these days. So this is very simple. And what will be the time complexity? The time complexity will be order of n, and we are using 3 arrays of size n, so space complexity will also be order of n. Now we can also improve the space complexity because we just need 3 variables, as we just need to maintain the previous states of those 3 states which I have already mentioned. Therefore the space complexity can fall to order of 1. I hope you will try this one. Now let us look at the code. So this is the recursion code. In this case we are given the prices array, and then I will find the number of elements, and after that I will take this memoization array initialized to -1 initially. I will then make a call to this find max function with prices and our current point, because we will be starting from the 0th point, so I will pass this value 0, and this n is actually the size of the array. Okay. Now if your current pointer is pointing out of bounds, then we will simply return 0 as I have explained you. And if the value is in bounds and if it is pre-calculated, that is memoization array at the current position is not -1, which was initially initialized, then we will simply return the value which is pre-calculated. This will highly improve our time complexity. Now if the value is also not pre-calculated, then we will calculate it, and finally we will store it in our memoization array and we will return the maximum value. Now how do we calculate the maximum profit? We will take a maximum value variable, and then we will assume that we have bought the stock on the current day and then we are selling it on some ith day. So if we are on the ith day, then what we can do is we can either sell the stock or we can simply skip selling the stock if we have bought the stock on the current day. Now we will be trying all these sell and skip combinations for all the elements, and then this current element will also be having 2 choices. We can either buy the stock or we can just skip buying the stock. So these are the possible options. Now in this case, the outer loop, you can see that we are starting from I equals to current plus 1. So in this case, we are assuming that we are buying the stock, which is the current stock, and now we will try to sell at all the possible positions which is coming after this current. So if the prices at current is less than prices at this ith day, then obviously on selling the stock on ith day, we will be making certain profit. So we will be having two choices. We can sell the stock at the ith day and find the maximum from I plus 2th day, because if we are selling on the ith day, then we cannot buy on the I plus 1th day. This is not allowed. So we can buy on I plus 2th day. This is allowed. So in this case, you can see that if we are calculating maximum value, then if we skip selling the stock, then it will be maximum value. Otherwise, if we are selling the stock on this current day, then the profit will be prices at I minus prices at current, because on the current day we had bought the stock and on ith day we are selling it. So we will try to maximize the profit. Therefore, ith day price should always be greater than the current day price. Now this is the profit which we will be making, and again we will be calling this find max function recursively from I plus 2th day. So here we are having this I plus 2 because our cooldown period is equals to 1. So if our cooldown period is, let's say, k, then we can simply replace this I plus 2 with I plus k plus 1. So this code will work for cooldown more than 1 days. That is, if we have cooldown of k days, then this code will work perfectly fine. Now this is for selling the stocks on the ith day if you have bought the stock on the current day. But another option is that you have not bought the stock on the current day. As I have already explained you that on the current day you can buy or you can skip buying. So this part is assuming that you have bought the stock on the current day and now you will try to sell it on some ith day greater than the current day. Now line number 21 is saying about the second option, which is skipping the buying process on this current day. So if you skip buying on the current day, then you can find the maximum on current plus 1/8 day. So we will be making recursive call on the next day, because according to constraint, if you are not doing anything on the current day, that is you are not selling anything, then you can obviously go to the current plus 1/8 day and try to find your maximum profit. So this line number 21 is for that, which is excluding the current element, that is excluding the current day process. So after all these calculations, we will be storing the solution in our memoization array, and then we will return the maximum value. So this is the recursion process. Let us now look at the other process, which was by state machines. So this state machine process was very simple. In this case, we are again given this prices array, and now we will be taking three arrays, which is no stock, in hand, and sold. And I have already told you that on day 1, no stock will be having value 0, because we do not have any stock and we have not spent any money as well. In hand will be having minus prices at 0, because on day 1, if you want stocks in hand, then you will obviously be spending some money and buying the stock. So you are basically spending money. You had initially 0 and you are spending money, so your money will go to negative. So this 0 was actually profit and not your actual money. And this third state is for selling state. So you cannot sell anything without buying, so this will also be 0. These are the initial states, and these are the state transitions as I had explained you earlier. Now after this, we will take the final result by taking the maximum of this no stock at n-1, that is no stock at the last day, comma sold at the last day. So I had already explained you why we are taking the maximum of first and the third state and not the second state. Now finally we will return the result. So this is on time and on space, but you can just make use of 3 variables instead of using these 3 arrays, and the space will reduce to just o1. So I hope you will try that method as well. I hope you are able to understand all these processes. If you have any other doubt, then do comment below and I'll try to help you as soon as possible. Like and share our video and subscribe to our channel in order to watch more of this programming videos. See you in our next video. Thank you.